There's news, there's sense, and there's nuisance. This show is all about Taliban and Afghanistan. What can we do, yaar? This is all that TV news guys have been talking about for the past 15 days.
अमेरिका तूने क्या किया?
Real headline.
अफगानिस्तान दहशत 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 फंस गए रे बाइडेन. रंजोर दास अमेरिका.
All real headlines. There are some more.
अब तालिबान के हवाले अफगानिस्तान साथियों, बेआबरू होकर विदा हुआ अमेरिका, अमेरिका का बदला पुर, इमरान के बचपन का प्यार तालिबान.
जानू मेरी जाने मन. यार तुमने ये भी डाल दिया. ये तालिबान तो तुम लोग अभी 2 हफ्ते तक खींचोगे. So here are some suggestions from the Newsance team for your next primetime debates. With love from Team Newsance to primetime anchors. You're welcome. तालिबान अच्छे लगते हैं. My name is तालिबान. तालिबान तो पागल है. जाने तू या जाने अफगानिस्तान, हम ब्लैक हॉक दे चुके सनम, चक दे पाकिस्तान. Now, for the past 15 days, RSS plus Navika have done 22 out of 25 debates on Afghanistan. Arnab has done 11 out of 12 discussions on Afghanistan. Anjana Om Kashyap has done 13 out of 16 discussions. Sudhir Ji has done 12 out of 14 shows on Afghanistan, and Amish has done 9 out of 11. That's a total of 67 debates on Afghanistan and Taliban in the past 15 days. It's not as if nothing has happened in India apart from the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. And that's not even happening in India. Mind you, we're not even getting into what other chirkuts like Padmaja, Anand and Gaurav Sawant were up to. Actually, wait. We did look into what Major General Gaurav Sawant was up to, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me get you the top story from Kabul.
Go on.
A Taliban helicopter flew over Kandahar with what appears to be a lifeless body hanging from that helicopter, and we will show you that image of that lifeless body hanging from a helicopter.
So Gaurav did show us the visuals of the lifeless body. In fact, lots of news channels showed us this breaking news on the lifeless body.
ये नीचे कौन लटक रहा है? ये क्या लटक रहा है नीचे?
एक हेलीकॉप्टर से एक व्यक्ति को फांसी दे दी गई. उस फांसी दिए हुए व्यक्ति को लटका कर घुमाया जा रहा है.
अमेरिकी मददगार था ये शख्स जिसको हेलीकॉप्टर से लटका कर फांसी दे दी गई और उसके बाद पूरे शहर में उसको घुमाया गया.
ये तालिबान के इस्लामिक अमीरात ऑफ अफगानिस्तान की हकीकत है.
अफगानिस्तान से तालिबान की क्रूरता की दिल दहला देने वाली तस्वीर सामने आई है. कंधार में तालिबानियों ने एक अमेरिकी नागरिक को उड़ते हेलीकॉप्टर से लटकाया.
For hanging at the end of a noose from the bottom of the chopper was the lifeless body of a man.
Yeah, this was actually a Talib trying to put a Taliban flag on a 100-meter pole, according to a detailed fact check done by Alt News. By the way, Alt News is also an ad-free platform, so support them because they take donations. Fake news छोड़ो, मुद्दे पे आते हैं. On August 31st, reports came out that Indian envoy Deepak Mittal met with the head of the Taliban's political office. This is the first time India has publicly announced a meeting with the Taliban, which made it a bit awkward for some news anchors who've been going on and on about Taliban for 15 days with an uncompromising, combative posture कि how can anyone even suggest talking with Taliban? Taliban के साथ हम engage कभी नहीं करेंगे. Meanwhile, their dear leader Sarkar meets the Taliban in a diplomatic setting. RSS को बहुत दुख हुआ.
I don't want this government to be pressured by citizen groups that think they know a little bit more than perhaps even the Americans have known over 20 years.
RSS is worried that Sarkar will come under pressure because of this letter written by 11 people. I don't want poor government to come under pressure by citizens group, because you know when citizens group protests, the government listens, right? It felt so pressured, right RSS? In fact, the protesting farmers had to deal with this guy because the government was so pressured.
Simple है, जो भी हो यहाँ से, इससे कोई भी पैदा हुआ, इसी तरह का स्पष्ट कर देता हूँ, सर छोड़ देता हूँ.
So much pressure हुआ है और कितना pressure बचा है. Next, इसको सीधे गवर्नमेंट अफगानिस्तान भेज देगी तालिबान का सर फोड़ने. Now, the main reason why the Indian envoy met with the Taliban was because of two main concerns: the safety, security and early return of Indian nationals, and the assurance that Afghanistan's soil should not be used for anti-Indian activities and terrorism in any manner. A very interesting report in The Hindu by Suhasini Haider said that when India decided to pull out their embassy staff after the Taliban took over, they were stopped from leaving the airport by gunmen guarding the city. The Indian government then had to open its channels to the Taliban to secure their release. Eventually, we received permission after some money changed hands, and the assurance was given that the Indian convoy would travel unarmed. This is realpolitik. Sometimes you have to pay off the bad guys to get the good guys out and safe. This little detail was obviously completely ignored by our TV news expert anchors.
If you want to understand what truly is terrorism and what is not, please read my book.
Stop press. Arnab wrote a book? Arnab is an expert on terrorism? Come on, Arnab. You're not an expert just on terrorism. You're an expert on everything, yeah?
Please read my book, Combating, please Sanju, my book, I'm plugging my book, Combating Terrorism, The Legal Challenge, published in the year of the Lord 2001, a fine global comparative study of laws against terrorism. You are speaking to someone who's an expert on the subject.
A fine global study. खुद की तारीफ करना कोई अर्नब से सीखे. इतनी fine global study है, I want to read that book. Production, book लेके आओ. I need to read it.
Hi, आपके पास Combating Terrorism The Legal Challenges by Arnab Goswami है?
नहीं, मैं पहली बार नाम सुन रहा हूँ. I don't have any.
पहली बार नाम सुन रहे हैं?
Excuse me, आपके पास अर्नब गोस्वामी की Combating Terrorism है क्या?
No ma'am, sorry, we don't have that.
आपके पास अर्नब गोस्वामी की Combating Terrorism होगी?
अर्नब गोस्वामी? No.
Excuse me, आपके बुक स्टोर में अर्नब गोस्वामी की Combating Terrorism अवेलेबल होगी?
नहीं, ये तो आई नहीं है हमारे पास.
यहाँ भी नहीं है?
नहीं मिला. अर्नब, can you please send us a copy of your book? हमने बहुत try मारा, नहीं मिला. We'll read it and interview because we only interview experts and authors and you're both. Now, since Arnab's expertise is nothing if not specific, pointed and insightful, he spent 50 minutes talking about a mystery group of Taliban supporters. 50 minutes of his debates was just this.
They're advocating violence against India. They're challenging the sovereignty of India. And that is why we cannot simply stand and watch them in good humor anymore. Apply the rules against terrorism against them. Call them out. Those fanatics.
अरे but कौन हैं ये लोग, अर्नब? One panelist had the same question as me.
How is supporting the Taliban not supporting Masood Azhar? Tell me that.
Who is supporting the Taliban? I'm asking you, who is Omar Abdullah?
Maybe they don't like Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India. Maybe they are anti-BJP. Maybe they are anti-RSS, which they have a right to be. But unfortunately for this group, a fascinating fact is, Captain Alok, that being anti-BJP, being anti-Modi, sometimes takes them to the extent of being anti-India. They even become pro-Taliban to be anti-Modi.
Them, these people, and you know, Dr. Fuad Ali, we passed the age of 18 a long time back, and even before that. In fact, I have been mature since I was 8 months old.
50 minutes spent just talking about they, them, those Talibani supporters. किसकी बात कर रहे हो भाई? बता तो देते. या पॉइंट यही है, कोई स्पेसिफिक मुद्दे की बात ही मत करो. That's the trope. Talk about a group of people, कभी Lutyens, कभी Khan Market gang, कभी Talibani supporters. Always keep it vague, so that it's never about anyone specific or a specific issue, but about anyone and everyone who's opposed to your dear leader. In all of this, most news anchors ignored very important news happening in India, like a deadly viral fever that has gripped Uttar Pradesh and has taken the lives of 32 children in 1 week. The epicenter of this viral outbreak is Firozabad, Our correspondent Ayush Tiwari went there and found terrible sanitary conditions, open drains, empty plots that are essentially large dustbins. A public health expert surveying Firozabad's affected localities told Newslaundry that the debilitating state of the sanitation in the city is the primary reason for the epidemic.
The drains are wide, dirty and uncovered. It has rained heavily this year and most of them are clogged with garbage. I've seen children play beside these and that's how the fever is spreading.
The only cleanup drive this locality witnessed was just hours before the CM was supposed to visit. Children dead, families after families sick, rising prices, rape cases in India, hate crimes against minorities, all drowned out in they, them, those, that.
Imran Khan said this. Did he say it or not, Mr. Abdul Samad Yaqub? Did he say it or not? Am I right or wrong?
Not at all.
Did he say it or not? Of course he said it. Of course he said it.
He said that. He said that. I know leadership, sir. I'm sorry. You don't want that. Leadership, you don't want that. The political no. You are the political leadership. Order the killing. You can't decide that. I'm a terrorist. You are not Barakot strike. That. We killed 300. Barakot strike decided.
मैंने सिर्फ बोला कि I'm not getting price तो आप से you आपको पैसा भी आने के चाहिए I know my job तो आप मुझे आप मुझे सिखा I'm not interested in listening to you please.
Now, of course, what happens in Afghanistan has a huge impact on India, and we need journalists to report on this region consistently. But what these anchors are doing is not reporting on an international news event. They are simply using it as fuel to keep their nightly tamasha burning. An easy formula for TRPs and ad money. जब तक न्यूज़ ad के दम पे चलेगी, और कितना बोलूँ यार, कितनी बार बोल चुकी हूँ, अब तो समझ जाओ. This circus will go on till news is dependent on TRPs, eyeballs and ad money. But if you step up and pay and become a direct sponsor of news, then news will have to serve you and your interest and not the interest of the advertisers who just want maximum eyeballs. If you support Newslaundry, we will be able to send out more reporters like Ayush and get you ground reports, true state of the country from across the country. So log on to newslaundry.com and pay to keep news free. Before we say goodbye, we have a new NL Sena project up, the Kashmir Ki Kahani comic book. In the early days of Newslaundry, one of our most popular projects was the Kashmir Ki Kahani digital graphic novel that gives you a complete, accurate and funny take on the history of present situation of Kashmir. We have updated this because so much has happened over the last 8 years, and we'll be releasing a new comic edition of the same Kashmir Ki Kahani but with new updates. For that, we need your support, so check out our NL Sena project and please make this happen. That's all the nuisance we have for you this week. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay mad. That's the only way. Thank you so much guys for watching this episode. If you liked it, please don't forget to like it on YouTube, comment, share with your friends, share it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Telegram, on Signal. Share it in as many places as you can. We really want the viewers. Also, please read our detailed report on the viral fever of Uttar Pradesh. 2 reports are out. You can read them. Also, check out our Newslaundry NL Sena project up for sure. And you can, if you're a subscriber, you can read the previous Kashmir Ki Kahani comic book. So you can check that out. If you subscribe to Newslaundry, please subscribe to Newslaundry because that's the only thing that keeps us going. We don't take any advertisements. So no advertisements for Yogi or from Ambani. We only want to depend on you guys. So please subscribe and keep us going.